Good morning. Greetings and welcome to Perfectly Planted. I'm Daphne Bascom. I'm a physician, a certified health coach, and the founder of Wingman Wellness.
And I'm Besame Schering, and others know me as Veggie Vess. I am an enthusiast around plant-based enthusiast, really focusing on health and wellness, mom of 3, wife, and really an optimist on a mission to help others live and really feel their best. Years ago, Daphne and I first began our journey exploring many aspects of health and wellness as it relates to nutrition, physical activity, stress, sleep, and social connection. And one thing we realized is that health is not just, it's a journey. It's not just a point in time. And it's also a journey where we can take it together.
So Besame and I started Perfectly Planted with you in mind. Our goal is to plant some seeds of positivity, knowledge, and empowerment that you can optimize your health and the health of those you love.
Thank you all so much for allowing us to be part of your journey. We know that health begins with you.
So today I am excited that we have the pleasure of speaking with Courtney Starnes. I am so fortunate to be a friend and colleague of Courtney's. We've known each other from our years at Cerner, from now our years at working together at St. Luke's Health System. And Courtney, welcome. And I'm so excited that you're able to join us today.
Thank you. Good morning. Hi, everyone.
Good morning. Courtney, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. I'm Courtney Starnes, and I am also a wife and mother. I live with my husband and 3 amazing children, some of the most awesome children in the world, I will say. I am a healthcare IT executive. I started at Cerner, have worked for several hospitals. So St. Luke's is one of those. And I love my St. Luke's family as well. I really enjoy fitness. I will say it's my hobby. I started really getting into yoga initially, and then and running. Running has been a passion of mine my whole life. So I enjoy both yoga, running, weightlifting, and really anything physical, I'm willing to try it. And then I also enjoy cooking. And so I started my journey to being plant-based in 2016, 2017, and have just really enjoyed getting to play with different recipes and different types of food. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome, Courtney. Thank you so much. So you mentioned plant-based. Can you share a little bit more about, what your journey of becoming plant-based and why you decided to go plant-based?
Absolutely. So I looked at our diet in 2016, and, I've got 3 kids, and they now span the ages of 8 to 14. And at the time, I had a couple of kids that basically wanted to live off peanut butter and jelly and macaroni and cheese. And I'm not saying that that's changed for all of them, but I thought, the first stop was, let's try to eliminate all things that come from a box or a bag at the grocery store. And so my end goal is to just always expose my kids to all different types of food so that they have curious palates. They taste all different kinds of fruits and vegetables, and that, they can go into adulthood knowing how to live a healthy life. So we first eliminated everything that was in a box or a bag. Now, I will say, rice comes in a bag. So obviously there are some exceptions to that rule, but really focused around shopping that perimeter of the grocery store starting with the produce section, not going to the grocery store when I was hungry and might be tempted to buy something that has extra sugar in it, and really also not taking the kids to the grocery store. That's an important part as well, because they just try to put everything in the cart. So the grocery store was my time, and I started it by doing that, by shopping the perimeter. And I would spend Sundays getting the family involved in sort of the prep for the week. And, kids like convenient things like granola bars. So we would make our own granola bars, and we would make our own homemade cookies out of oatmeal. And we actually didn't even buy bread from a bag during that time. We would make our own homemade bread. Wow. So we went all in with it to try to be completely unprocessed in our household. And I would say, of all of the changes I've made in diet, that was initially the most impactful. It's amazing to me just kind of how clean we felt after just getting rid of the junk that was in our pantry. So we had a clean out pantry day, and we donated everything that wasn't opened, and then got rid of the total junk. And and it was eye-opening, the difference that made. So in 2017, my journey got a little more personal, I would say, my story. I lost my husband in a car accident. And so it was me and the kiddos. And, I was just really taking the time to think about life and how I want to continue to live the most long and healthy life that I can possibly live, and that I wanted to pass that to my children as well. And I really started to take more time for myself, which is hard to do when you're suddenly a single mother. But I did my best to take extra time for myself for fitness. And then I actually watched the documentary Game Changers, which everybody was watching at that time. And I decided that plant-based would be a good option. Mm-hmm. So from there, really, once you get rid of the processed foods, it was very easy to just get rid of all of the animal products, because we were already eating, lean meats and fish and vegetables and fruits. So when your diet is primarily those things, the animal products come out pretty easily. Mm-hmm. So at that time, that's the decision I made. And I won't say that all of my children wanted to follow that. And we have a little bit different philosophy about that. But I would say it was the right decision. And I've enjoyed, like I said, being able to open my mind to different recipes and try different things over the last few years.
Courtney, you've had quite an amazing journey. So as you progress through shopping the perimeters of the stores and really eliminating a lot of the highly processed foods and the animal-based products from your nutrition, how did that impact? I mean, you added more physical fitness, which I assume was when you really started focusing on your running. Mm-hmm. Can you speak a little bit about how you fuel your long runs and what you do for recovery?
Sure. So yes, I did start to spend more time. I was doing a lot of yoga at the time. And then I had a friend in the neighborhood that said, hey, why don't we start running before the kids wake up, and we'll stay real close to home. It'll be okay. Like, we can get back to the house quickly if anybody. So we just did this small perimeter around our couple of our neighborhood streets for 30 minutes in the morning. And I just was like, oh, I've forgotten how great running feels. But it came back to me quickly, and I just really enjoyed the benefits that I got from running. As far as fueling my runs, I have moved into from that point to now. I have moved into running marathons, half marathons, and in 2020 during the pandemic, I ran my own ultra marathon. It wasn't a actual race because most of the races were canceled in 2020, but I ran an ultra marathon distance around our city. And when I run a very long distance like that, one of the best ways that I fuel pre-run is I wake up 2 hours before the run and I eat a bowl of oatmeal with banana and blueberries. And that sticks with me. I drink water during the run. I will drink a little bit of Gatorade during the run just to ensure that I have enough electrolytes. But even on my 31 plus mile run in 2020, that was what got me through it. Honestly, my friends so I also have the pleasure now of running with there's a group of 10 of us or so, really strong women, all with families and powerful jobs. And we run every morning. We call ourselves the 5 a.m. run team. And so we run every morning at 5 a.m. And honestly, one of the greatest fuels for my morning workouts is that social group. And just knowing that I will have great conversations, and you don't even realize that you're running when you are running with your good friends. So that helps fuel my runs from that sense, just mentally. But that they also have been really interested in my journey as well, and often call me the Energizer Bunny. And so that's, I think, I don't know that there's another plant-based person in our run group, but that has been something that we've all commented on at one point or another, that it seems like I could just keep running. And it seems like I could just run every single day, multiple times a day, and I don't get sore. I don't seem to run out of energy. So it's just kind of interesting, the stamina, I would say. And I think, that I attribute that a lot to the diet, to being plant-based and being rid of processed foods. So I really feel like that's one of the benefits. In fact, after my 32-mile run last year, the next day I could have run again.
Wow.
I really didn't experience any pain with that. And some people are just meant to run, I think, and some people are meant for their strong suit is other types of activities, and like weightlifting. And I feel like, that I've found something that I'm suited for, but at the same time, I think the diet, the plant-based fuel really helps.
That's amazing, Courtney. I mean, 31 some miles plus you could run again. I mean, I really do believe in that anti-inflammatory component of being
Yes.
plant-based, because we have
Absolutely.
experienced that as well. And after, everybody's gone through COVID, lots of fitness centers have shut down. And then so, altering your fitness is really important. But going back to the gym now that things had opened up, and they may close back up, we don't know. But, I know I personally have noticed that I didn't really miss too much. I had, Daphne kept me on track,
Exactly.
and I've been able to maintain pretty well. And I really do attribute that to plant-based. Now, I understand it that you were part of a soup recipe exchange at work, and I heard
That's
that
correct.
yours have you talk about being an amazing cook. First of all, we want to get some copies of those soup recipes if you don't mind sharing them.
I will share them.
But tell us a little bit about, some of your favorite recipes and some of the things
Absolutely.
that you are, always have either daily or weekly, some staple recipes, if you don't mind sharing that.
Sure. I am a woman of routine. So I will say that Monday through Friday, and sometimes even on the weekends, I eat the same thing really for breakfast and lunch every day. And so I brought a few things that I would like to share with you guys. So every morning after running, or whatever workout I'm doing, I eat the same toast. And it's a banana toast, and I'll send you the recipe as well. It starts with your favorite type of whole grain bread. So, you can get whole grain bread for a couple dollars a loaf. The kind that I like is a little bit more expensive, and I'll show it to you. It's the Ezekiel bread, but it is delicious. And so it starts with a piece of toasted whole grain bread. And then you're going to take your favorite peanut butter, or it could be any nut butter, really. It could also be a peanut butter powder. So this is something that we get from Amazon, and it comes in a smaller one. We just, between smoothies and peanut butter toast and the kids, we just get the big one. So you can use some peanut butter powder, or you can use regular peanut butter or any other kind of nut butter. So you spread that on the toasted bread, and then you slice a banana and put sliced banana on top. And then I sprinkle that with cinnamon. And then here's my favorite part. So I highly recommend the hemp seeds. So I do probably a half a tablespoon. These are so high in protein, and they have all sorts of nutrients that are really healthy for you. So hemp seeds, these make the toast, in my opinion. So good amount of hemp seeds. I do a little pumpkin seed on there, and I also do a little chia seed. All of these can be ordered on Amazon, and they'll come to your house same day, depending on where you live. So once I get the seeds on there, I just drizzle finally a little bit of local honey. And I find that just a little bit of local honey every day can help with things like allergies, they say, and that has proven successful to me. So that is what I start my morning with, that with a cup of tea or coffee. And then for lunch every day, I tend to go for a salad. And on my salad, I do, a lot of variety of vegetables. So I tend to choose shredded red cabbage and carrots. I choose beans and peas. And I think the beans are a really healthy way to get protein over lunch. If you want to also add to your salad a little brown rice or quinoa, you'll get that perfect protein with a combination of rice and the beans. So that's how I have my lunch. And then I also, throughout the day, will snack on whole fruits and vegetables. So carrot sticks, apples, kiwis. I'm really into kiwis right now. And then for dinner, we have a philosophy in our house that, everyone can eat. And my friends and I have talked about this a lot. We've talked about collaborating on a cookbook, actually, called Everybody Eats, because she has the same experience. It's my neighbor down the street. where she has people in her household that want to eat different diets.
Mhm.
And I am taking the philosophy with my children that I will show them by example how to eat. And I have my youngest who, that girl wants a steak or a cheeseburger every day. And right now I am not convincing her otherwise. I'm not feeding her a steak or cheeseburger every day. That's just what she wants. So what we typically do is I find recipes that the base of them are all plant-based.
Mhm.
So, for example, one of my family's absolute favorite recipes that I will share is is ramen. And this ramen is not the ramen in the package with the little seasoning packet. It's different. So the base is a ramen recipe, and then we make different vegetables. So it could be steamed broccoli and cauliflower, and maybe like some roasted red peppers. And then we'll make some tofu, and then we might have a little bit of pulled chicken. And everybody can then top that base plant-based recipe with whatever fruits and proteins that they wish. So that's how we solve our problem of, not everyone in the house wanting to eat the exact same thing. Sometimes I do just cook a plant-based meal, and if that if she decides that she doesn't want to eat it after one bite, then she makes herself a peanut butter and jelly, which is also plant-based. So in that case, we all win. But that's how we do our meals. And yes, I will share those soup recipes. The other thing I will say that I've really enjoyed getting into is plant-based baking.
Mhm.
And this can be dangerous. So plant-based baking in moderation is good. But I bake everyone's birthday cakes plant-based, and we just don't tell them. So it's my son, his birthday was in March, and I made him a champagne layer cake with strawberry buttercream. And it was everyone's favorite. I've made lemon cakes with strawberry or blueberry buttercream, pumpkin cake, carrot cake. So you can actually modify almost any baking recipe by making a flaxseed egg
Mhm.
and using plant-based butter or oil and plant-based milk. So that's my favorite thing, is to experiment and try to bake baked goods that no one realizes are plant-based.
Courtney, you're amazing.
Oh, thanks.
As you talk about all that you do, well, first of all, you mentioned at the start that you're also a women in tech and love
Mhm.
to be able to have great role models and mentors like yourself for other young girls or other women that are interested in all of them, being a businesswoman, an entrepreneur. Um, but what's a typical day in the life of Courtney? I mean, how do you make all of this work?
Yeah, that's a great one that I love to think about, because sometimes at the end of the day, I just feel really powerful for what I've been able to accomplish. So my day starts really early. And that's something that I think people have to kind of adjust to waking up so early. But I wake up every day before the sun wakes up, typically between 4:30 and 4:45. And I just really have grown to love the approximately 3 hours of the day that I have before the world wakes up. And so I start my day with a workout. I spend probably, truthfully, about 2 hours in some sort of physical activity. Um, and then I meet my daughter, my middle daughter. She and I have special breakfast time every day once my workouts are done. So we meet in the kitchen and we make our toast. and we sit down before anyone else in the house wakes up, and we have breakfast together. And that's been a really special time. Usually I'm able to have my workouts and have my breakfast and be at my computer by 7:30 or 7:45. So I'm even getting a head start on work for the day. I work from home and my husband works from home as well. And during the summer, we have the 3 children at home and they're in and out doing their activities. It's a little quieter during the school day. So we're now getting to the point of the summer where we're like, okay, we're ready for some quiet. But during the lunch time frame, I typically, after I eat my salad, I like to either go outside and just spend a few minutes outdoors in the sun, or maybe just take a little bit of a stroll around the block, just to really recharge myself. I think it's really easy to get into an afternoon slump after lunch. Come back in, make a cup of tea. I love to make fresh ginger tea, add some turmeric in there for the anti-inflammatories. And then I get back to work for the afternoon. Typically at about 5:15 or so, I'll sign off of the computer, and then I will go in and I'll make dinner. And we eat dinner as a family every night about 6 o'clock. And then the evening is filled with just relaxation time. Sometimes we go on another walk as a family, or we might do chores together around the house. I will say my husband now is just a complete blessing in our lives. So I have much more time than I did before as a single parent in the evenings. So I used to spend a lot of time really up until 11 doing chores and folding laundry and getting the kids ready for school the next day. And, at 11 o'clock, I would often just kind of need a moment to stretch and quiet myself down before I hopped into bed. And so I get a lot more sleep now, and sleep's very important for your health as well.
It is. Wow. Well, you definitely are very efficient. You get a lot done in a day. No wonder you feel so powerful at your accomplishments, because you should. And I really do think it starts with our holistic thinking of health and wellness. Part of which is Daphne and I believe that on a daily basis, gratitude is extremely important. You mentioned a couple of things you're grateful for, but what specifically are you deeply grateful for today, Courtney?
Today, I am grateful, and this is something I'm grateful for every day, is to see the sunrise every day. And it's just a simple thing. But I really believe in that mind, body, soul connection. And that's something that, just even if I'm having a really challenging day or week or month, I know that every morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to get to be outside and see the sunrise, even when it's winter. So I just really appreciate that. It's something I'm grateful for every day.
And that's something we should all be grateful for.
That's right.
So, Courtney, as we wrap up today, I mean, I'll be honest with you, we could probably talk for another 30 minutes. I have so much, you have been such a blessing in my life, introducing me to healthy foods, yoga, being a partner in cardio, and hopefully one day we'll be able to get back to doing cardio again. But we want to ask all of our guests to be a part of our perfectly planted mindset. And so, what seeds of positivity or empowerment can you plant in the minds of our listeners as just something that you feel strongly about advocating for or wanting to share?
Sure. Thank you for asking that. I I talked a little bit about that connection between mind, body, and spirit. And I really feel like that those things need to be kept in balance. And in our world today, there's a lot going on, and it's scary. It's unfair. And I think that you have to take the time investing in your ability to be balanced and be focused on your mental health. And so for me, it is that balance of physical activity, meditation, eating the right things. But I just hope that everyone, has a moment that they can take in their day to go outside, or go to a quiet place. If your outside isn't quiet, if it's too loud to be in that space, then find just a quiet space somewhere in your home. Dim the lights. You don't have to do yoga, but even just getting into a seated position and trying to calm your headspace for a few minutes. I think mental health is one thing that continues to sort of take the back burner in our world, and it's something that I'm passionate about. And so I think all of these things that we've talked about today, having the right diet, having some level of physical exercise, sometimes that's really hard to just, even if you're feeling bad, it's really hard to get up and move your body. So just find a quiet spot and take a minute to breathe and start there. And then, maybe the next day you'll find your quiet spot and you'll get into a plank position and you'll spend 30 seconds there and just move slowly into it. And then if you have a good place to be with nature, even if it has city sounds in it, go outside and be in nature, and, let that vitamin D from the sun just warm your body.
That's great advice. I don't know about you all, but this has been a great conversation. I do want to ask Courtney, I know that it's been you've been very helpful and informative. And thank you so much for joining us on Perfectly Planted today. If anybody is wanting to reach out to you, where can they contact you? Or would you mind sharing your contact information with us?
Sure, absolutely. I am on LinkedIn. That's one place you can contact me. And I would be happy to respond to any messages or provide my email information via LinkedIn.
And let's be honest, the most important part is those recipes. So please don't forget to share those
Yes,
recipes
we
with
will
us,
definitely
Courtney.
get the recipes.
We would love those. I don't know
Yes.
about you all, but really this has been a really wonderful conversation. Thank you so much, Courtney. For those of you listening and watching, nothing that we shared should be considered as medical advice. If you have health concerns, physical or emotional, you should seek the guidance of your primary care physician and provider, or any other qualified professional. We want to make sure that that's very clear. Our hope is that by sharing some of these recommendations, we can better equip you to be the master of your own health and wellness, as opposed to something that's prescribed to you. So please, please, please seek the professional help that you need. This is more just guidance.
And I want to thank you both. This has been a wonderful conversation. And I hope that all of you will join us again on our future episode of Perfectly Planted. Courtney, thanks so much for joining us. Your words resonate with both Besame and I, and we hope that you'll be able to join us again on the podcast to share more about
you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.